And hello and welcome everyone. The Solicitation station is rolling on into this station once again. No, it should be the hype train is rolling on into the Solicitation station once again. Can you believe I've done this show a bunch of times and I still haven't figured out an intro yet? But thank you so much, everyone, for coming to join me. For those who don't know, for this is your first time, the Solicitation station is a show I do every few months where I take a look at what Marvel and DC have coming down the pipeline, give my thoughts, give some ideas of where I think things might be going. And the best part is that my co-host on this show is you. Yes, that's right. You the fans who just came through right there with an update, but I couldn't see it because, again, my alert box is all the way down at the bottom when my alert box should be all the way up at the top. Thank you for that one, Streamlabs, for reminding me there that Battlezerd is now following, so thank you for that. Oh, Trappy, flattery will get you everywhere, Trappy. Feeling real handsome right now because I'm rocking a brand new haircut that people may or may not have already seen if they're patrons and watch the newest episode. I got this because of Twitch stream goals. You know, that's why you gotta follow me every time I do a stream, because you never know what crazy stunt I'll be doing. I did this because of a $30 donation from Lich Lord Chris, and you too can do fun stuff just like that if you catch my stream. I am rocking the Hawkeye Trappy, you're not wrong at all. Such a crazy stunt. Hey, you know what, for a little bit more money, I'll dye it. I'll, go the full Guy Fieri. I'll dye it blonde, do my beard. Ooh, I should do that for Halloween. You should go for a fancy fade. I had a fancy fade, man, without beard. That's what I normally get. I normally get a #1 fade. To think I waited so long into my life to actually get haircuts. Usually I just, slicked it back or shaved it in the summer. But yes, I actually am getting haircuts now this late in my life. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about what we can expect coming from Marvel and DC in the month of November. We got all the solicitations in front of us right now. I took a poll of the people watching live, and this is just a fun thing you can do when you do watch live, to hear which company they wanted to see first. If they wanted to see Marvel first, or if they wanted to see DC first. Marvel won, so that's what we're going to be talking about. So without further ado, let's hop right on into it. Obviously, Marvel in November is much like Marvel right now, and that is everything. Everything is about the X-Men, and why shouldn't it be? That House of X issue was great, and we're getting a whole slew of brand new X books by November. The first one we got right here is just X-Men or New X-Men. I thought it was going to be called New X-Men. Out from Comic-Con, but nope, it's just called Adjectiveless X-Men now, and as you can see, the team lineup here is pretty damn interesting. It's the Summers family and Wolverine, because, I mean, come on, are you really going to be doing a X-Men book without Wolverine in it? Obviously not. This is funny because I know when I saw this first coming off the back of Comic-Con, it's like, wait, why are the X-Men in space again? They haven't been in space for years. And hey, spoilers, if you've read House of X, you know exactly why they're in space, and that is their new enemies, the human supremacists, Orcus, have gone to space, and so it only makes sense they're going to go there too. And it's nice too because you get to get some more spacefaring characters in there, like Crosshair, Scott Summers' dad, as well as Vulcan, another super powerful Omega mutant who you don't get very often. So this one looks like a really good mix, and of course it's written by Hickman, so of all the new X-Men books, this is definitely a must-read book. That's not to say the other ones aren't going to be rather interesting either. Let's make a petition to get Joel to stream himself watching Power Rangers. Man, if I didn't think I would get in trouble with copyright, I would totally do that. I would totally, watch from episode 1. That'd be a lot of fun. Can't wait for X-Men to have a base on Mars. Yeah, when is the X base on Mars? Again, as we've seen, their country, Krakoa, can be anywhere because it's just connected by portal, so they should have a place on the moon. Maybe that Marvel place on the moon where people can breathe. Battlezerd, hey Joel, quick question. Why have you been covering the Power Rangers comics? I thought you were a fan. I'm a massive fan, but they keep getting buried, unfortunately, under everything else I'm covering. I am so behind, and I hate to admit that I'm so behind. I'm basically reading it in trade along with everyone else now. I really want to do a story so far video on, Battle for the Grid, but just keeps getting pushed and getting pushed and getting pushed. Ah, it's a shame. Joel should have commentary tracks for Power Rangers on Patreon. Ooh, that's a good one, man, without beer. Would people like that? Tell me in the comments section and live if people would like to see that, because I could knock that out fairly easily. They're all on Netflix. I should make that like a tier on Netflix. I will happily do that. I will happily sit down and watch those. I might have to do that, man, without beer, and everyone might have to become a patron to watch it. I will become a patron then. Well, all right. Banana God says he'll become a patron. All right, that'll be a tier. I will happily do that. I will happily do that. All right. So what else we got going on? Yes. Hickman X-Men. We're getting a lot of Hickman books, and it feels like how are we going to be able to follow all of them? Some people I know are probably only going to be following the Hickman books, which is a shame because I think some of the other books we got coming out are pretty interesting, like a brand new rebooted Excalibur from Teenie Howard, who's a writer who I'm really enjoying right now. Her work is really speaking to me. She's, of course, writing that Thanos mini right now. She had the best story in the Guardians annual, and now she's going to be doing this. Excalibur is, of course, the British team of X-Men. They've had a bunch of different members on their roster over the year. The big new thing they have is a newly christened Captain Britain, who is obviously Betsy Braddock, who was Psylocke. She was the British woman inside the mind of the Asian woman, but now they've split the difference on those characters, so now Psylocke is running around as the Asian woman, but British Betsy is now Captain Britain. And yes, Apocalypse is on the team too, Trappy. And Teenie Howard said that was a big part of her getting this book because they were really impressed with how she was writing Thanos. Or is that grown-up kid Apocalypse? I don't know, Trappy. I didn't read the end of Matthew Rosenberg and that whole, World of X, Nathan Summers is Jesus thing. I didn't read that, so I don't actually know what became of that, but I think he was a good guy in that. He was like a hippie or something, but yes, this is a team with Apocalypse, Jubilee, Rogue, and Gambit, and Captain Britain, as well as I think that's Richter at the back. It's been so long since I followed X-Men, man, because you haven't had to follow X-Men at Marvel. It's been super unnecessary, and nothing that happened in those books had any effect on anything else. But here, it actually looks like the stories are going to start having an effect again. And hello, Jaden. Welcome. Thank you for stopping on by. Most appreciated for joining us. We're just talking about all the brand new X-Men solicitations we got coming down. I definitely want to check this one out because I like Teenie Howard's work, and I want to support a new creator, especially because this book has a lot of mutants I really like on it. So that's definitely one for me. Yeah, thanks for the Fox merger. There you go. But that's not all. The X-Men Cup continue to runneth over because we also have Marauders, which I asked the question too, where it's like, wait, why are they the Marauders and why are they on a boat? And that is because they are the X-Men Trade Company, basically now, and the idea being, hey, Krakoa is the new mutant nation, and as a mutant nation, they're going to need a trade company. They're going to need their own, navy, basically, and that's what the Marauders are. And I think that's very cool, actually, that they're going to be handling trade all over the world. This is, of course, written by Jerry Duggan, a creator who I've always loved and respected, who I think is really a real workhorse of a creator, who never gets the love or respect he deserves, even though he wrote 5 solid years of Deadpool, the Deadpool book that made me a fan, wrote the Doc Green story in Hulk that never got finished. But yeah, I definitely want to check this one out, if only because I like Duggan and I want to support him. You'll also notice the team makeup of the Marauders book speaks a lot to what's happening in the X-Men book right now and how the lines between good mutants and evil mutants is starting to be, blurred. You got Kitty Pryde leading the charge. Makes sense. She was headmistress for a bit, so she should have a leader role. Pyro is in the Navy. Yeah, question mark. What about that? Hello, New Genesis. Welcome. You got Iceman, of course. Storm. Makes sense. You want some elemental heroes if you're at sea. Emma Frost, who was leading the Hellfire Club last time we checked. She was the new White King. Then you got Bishop, and then you got Pyro. So yeah, you got at least 2 villains on a team, and I noticed that's something that kind of continues in this book. It's not all just your traditional heroes. There's some villains in there too. Did Xavier change their mind? Do they really believe in what they're doing, or is there something more sinister? I don't know. Bishop and Storm do have a synergy. They got 3 Omega level mutants on one team. Well, you're right, Amazing. I never thought about that. Yeah, Marauders is stacked. They do indeed. It's funny, too, that Gambit is not on the team called Marauders, even though Gambit started on the Marauders. I find that interesting. So Shadowcat, Storm, Iceman, Pyro, and Emma for Pirate. They're all pirates now. This is the cool thing. They watched a bunch of Johnny Depp movies, and now they want to be pirates. Magneto wears white, though. Yeah, absolutely, because no one who wears white could ever possibly be a bad guy, Banana God. It's not like in Asian cultures it's white that's the color of death instead of black. Was going to say, wasn't there already a Marauders? There's been several Marauders over the years, Trappy. I always thought it was a cool name, but usually it's been more for villains and anti-heroes, so it's interesting to see the Marauders become a pirate trade company. But, I'm definitely down for that. Where can I find the Omega Mutants level list? Funny you should say that, New Genesis. If you pick up House of X, they give you a handy-dandy list of at least all the Omega level mutants who will be showing up in this Hickman run. But has Nightcrawler always wanted to be a pirate? He has, Vestia, and he's not here. Nightcrawler, probably the most high-profile mutant who doesn't seem to be in any of these books right away. Which, again, makes me feel that maybe he's leading some sort of anti-Xavier resistance. I don't know. I guess we'll have to find out. Power of X, there's a character that looks like Nightcrawler, but clearly isn't Nightcrawler. He's got his costume, but he's got like a red devil face. We will get to Colossus Amazing Spider-Man, don't you worry. Xavier is alive again. Technically, he's been alive for a bit, Trappy. In Rosenberg's original Astonishing X-Men, Shadow King was keeping his brain, and then his brain went into Phantom X, which is also why he's walking upright now, even though he shouldn't be. It was a whole thing. His brain was in the Red Skull for a bit, but then, you know, they got rid of that when they killed the Red Skull and took his head. That was a whole thing. And now Red Skull lives inside the head of Alexander Lukin again. It's a whole thing. Zorn was in House of X. Zorn and the other Zorn, whose name I can't remember. Jonathan Hickman remembers Toad. That's pretty good. Xavier's brain is the Office by his skull. Yeah, everyone's had a turn with his brain. But yeah, that's Marauders. I like Jerry Duggan quite a bit, and I definitely want to check that one out. House of X will actually be ending in November, because, of course, House of X and Power of X are only miniseries to set the stage for this new Hickman era of X-Men. They've thankfully been very vague about what the actual story is going to be, and that's probably good. And yes, Battlezerk comics are very weird. They're weird, and that's just grand, I tell ya. But, yeah, so those will be ending in November to make room for the new line of X-Men books. Yeah, Power of X was the one I was saying that looked all weird. Here, you can see some bad shit has gone down in Krakoa, and a bunch of the mutants look to be beaten up and hurt and everything. I don't quite know who that is standing over them, but I'm sure we're going to find out. I know in House of X there was some weird pod people situation going on, like a bunch of mutants had died previously at the end of the Rosenberg era, and they were seemingly reborn as pod people, which makes me think, are they people? Aren't they? Who knows? Colossus is also going to be on the X-Force book, Trappy. Him and Beast are going to be on the X-Force book, which I can only assume, now that we know that all of these X-Men books are serving a purpose within the new mutant nation. I'm going to guess X-Force is their army, is their, like, military. Also, is that Nightcrawler down there, or is that another character? I think that's the red guy who's wearing Nightcrawler's outfit. And also, there's a Colossus, but like a Colossus who is also magic, who we're going to see in the next issue of Power of X. There's some weird fusion characters running around. Yeah, who's under the green triangle? Oh, that's not a green triangle. That's the mutant green triangle. Oh, he's a great character. Oh, Claremont wrote so much about the green triangle. I'm talking shit, I don't know. Yeah, Azazel, maybe, I don't know. We'll have to read Power of X. Power of X comes out this week, and we'll find out way more. But yeah, there's some weird fusion-y characters running around. And yeah, you're right, Wolverine is back in the orange and tan costume, and he seems to be in that across the board for everything. Yeah, I love Green Triangle. I read every issue. He had the power to be both green and a triangle. Broke a lot of boundaries, this character. Very political for his time. Triangles never used to be superheroes. Why aren't you covering Conan? Is a maker taking control of the maker? Conan, because I don't think it would do well on my channel. Captain Morales. I love the idea. I love that Aaron and Zub are writing it. I love both those people, but I don't think that book would do well on my channel. That's why. Because even though he does exist in the Marvel Universe, Conan is still very outside the mold. Now, both DC and Marvel in the month of November, too, are going to be doing a ton of reprints. For the X-Men, obviously, they got the True Believers with a bunch of very important issues from across the hero's history and the team's history to remind you who certain people are. You know, obviously, here's some stuff with Captain Britain and Excalibur for you. We're reprinting Days of Future Past again because everyone loves Days of Future Past, and there's not near enough ways to read that one yet. And, I mean, you know, you can assume, too, that if these are the issues they're reprinting, maybe this is all the sort of stuff that, Hickman is going to be drawing reference from. So, you know, maybe check those out, maybe see if there's any, you know, connective tissue between all these stories. They seem pretty random to me, but I could be wrong. Doesn't Deadpool have his own book? Deadpool does indeed have his own book. I don't know, did it end? Did the Scotty Young one come to an end. I know, what is it, Duggan wrote his for like 5 years. His book ended with 15, interestingly. Wow, a Deadpool book coming to an end. That's shocking, honestly. Maybe Deadpool will show up here now that the X-Men are back in the Marvel Disney fold. Maybe he'll show up on X-Force or something. Because, you know, it would be funny to see what crazy old Deadpool has to say about the New Mutant World Order and about the New Mutant Nation. He could really throw a wrench into it. So, quick question, what the hell happened to OG Captain Britain? No one cares what happened to OG Captain Britain. It's like what happened to OG Captain Marvel. The other ones were more popular. But if you want to know, because I think these writers really care, and because Teenie Howard has shown she's really good with continuity and a big fan of the old British characters, I'm sure she'll mention it at some point. I'm sure they'll bring it up at some point if you read the new Excalibur. What else do we got going on? Oh, yes, all these facsimile editions. Again, really nice reprints of new #1s and famous stories. So, you know, lots of chances to relive stuff. And if it's new stuff you want, the second issue of J.J. Abrams and Sons Spider-Man book is going to be out in November as well. This is the one Abrams is writing with his kids. Sarah Pacelli is doing the art. I'm very happy to see Pacelli do the art. I really like the way she drew Spider-Man. And yeah, their big conceit here is there's a new mystery villain in the life of Spider-Man, which, you know, has nothing to do with Kindred, the other mystery villain that he's fighting right now. So, you know, he can have more than one mystery villain. Spider-Man, you know, he's a busy guy. He's got a full dance card. You know, I'll definitely check this out because it's not every day a major Hollywood celebrity writes a superhero book. Kindred is Joel. He's going to take off the mask. He's going to be me. All these years of reviewing comics has finally gotten to me. Heh. Excuse me. Sorry, stream foul. I had to sneeze. Another new mystery bad guy. There's one born every minute. Yeah, JJ and Son, as I'm going to call them from now on. It is funny whenever a celebrity comes to write comics. It doesn't happen as much as it used to, and you could tell that he came to them, not the other way around, and they just basically rolled out the red carpet for him and his kid to be like, hey, here's a brand new Spider-Man book for you, know, whatever gets people talking, you know, whatever gets people talking about our books, even tangentially connected. Which, again, too, you know, a J.J. Abrams story having a mystery villain. He literally put a mystery box in the book, and the book isn't even out yet. So, you know, that's very much him. Absolute Carnage will also be wrapping up in November. Issue 4 will be out. They're really ramping up for this event right now. If you read Funeral Pyre from the Web of Venom, that was good stuff. They brought back Andy, the Cullen Bunn character from Flash Thompson's time, as Venom. That's good stuff. I'm excited for this. This looks like a fun event. And even if it's bad, it looks like the good kind of bad. But no, I think this is good. I think Donny Cates has really set some good groundwork for this, and I'm excited to see where it goes. Yeah, the cover does look... A lot of these covers for Absolute Carnage look really, really good. You can tell the artist had a blast drawing these. Again, you asked where Deadpool is. His book is gone, but we're revisiting Deadpool versus Carnage, which apparently was a very well-selling miniseries at the time, so it's coming back again for another run. Who doesn't like that? And Frank Terry's writing that. Frank Terry, again, much like Jerry Duggan, real solid workman-like comic writer who doesn't get enough respect. Immortal Hulk is also going to be getting an Absolute Carnage tie-in, but it won't be preempting his book. I like that Marvel actually knows what they got going on when it comes to Immortal Hulk, and so he doesn't have to stop his story to go do a tie-in. He gets a tie-in, and it's going to be written by the team you know and love, but, you know, it's not stopping the story. That's good. That should be true for a lot of stories when you know you got something good on your hands. And hello, Space Lord. I saw you come in. Welcome, welcome. This cover looks really great, and I mean, come on, the Immortal Hulk, who, you know, is like touched by divine forces and who can't be killed, versus Carnage, who also seemingly has been touched by divine forces and has also got this weird null religion going on and can't be killed. This is gonna be a cool one. I can already tell this is gonna be one of them cool stories. Also, has the Hulk ever had a symbiote? I know Red Hulk had a symbiote. I can't actually remember. Absolute Carnage, Lethal Protectors. This is the team book we got going on with Iron Fist and Misty Knight and Morbius. You know, just some characters who don't really get a lot of love. Getting a little book, that's always fun. Miles Morales gets a 3-issue miniseries where it looks to be him and Silver Sable and a symbiote monster that has the same color design as him, which is really fascinating. I mentioned this in the previous video, but I have to wonder if they're going to reference the fact that, hey, the Ultimate Venom symbiote killed his mom, and I wonder, does the ultimate Venom symbiote count when it comes to, every person who's been touched by a symbiote who now Null wants to kill for the little piece of the Grendel Codex they have? Yeah, exactly, the Best Defense. I meant to read Best Defense. I bought all those issues of that Defender's Best Defense thing and never actually read it. But yes, it's nice to know that they're not interrupting the story as it is. Hulk never had a symbiote. That's it. Even in Venomized, even in that story where it felt like they gave everyone a symbiote, he did not have one. Hey, Joel, what do you think of Tony Stark, Iron Man? Love it, Space Lord. In fact, I'm really cheerleading that book. I feel not enough people are talking about Tony Stark, Iron Man. I actually just finished my video review of the newest issue, and that will be going up tomorrow at 8. So check that one out. I'm especially excited for the next arc that is going to be involving Ultron and everything. So what else we got going on? Scream, of all the weird symbiote helpers, Scream is getting her own miniseries. All right, sure, why not? Venom, obviously the book that you gotta be reading because this is where Absolute Carnage is spinning out of. Donny Cates has just been killing it with this book, and I think we're going to see some substantial growth for Eddie as a character in this story, tackling what might be his greatest foe. Then, of course, Spider-Man will also be getting involved, and as you can see, we're bringing back the Red Goblin. We're bringing back Norman Osborn as the Red Goblin, and not only are we bringing him back for this story, but he's also getting a little one-shot as well. Donny Cates is secretly Venom. You didn't know it, but he was. He speaks in us's and everything. He speaks as a hive mind. Some good shit. I'll be interested to see what Nick Spencer brings to this, especially because Nick Spencer's run has been, for the most part, kind of light and kind of funny. It'll be funny to see how he tackles a story like this. People also really seem to like the Red Goblin as a concept. I was slightly indifferent to it, but people seem to like it. Mary Jane getting her own miniseries. She's going back to work in the movies, and Mysterio is going to be involved, and it's a whole fun thing spinning out from Spider-Man number 25. If you like MJ, you're getting so much more MJ in November. Your cup runneth over. And also, while we're on the subject of Spider-Man, we're also getting another Spider-Man miniseries called Spider-Man Full Circle, written by Spencer, Hickman, Duggan, Ewing, and Zdarsky. Basically, everyone gets an issue by the looks of it, and it's Spider-Man traveling the globe. It's a world-traveling Spider-Man. It actually sounds like it's probably going to take place in the past, too, because they offhandedly mention S.H.I.E.L.D., which obviously S.H.I.E.L.D. isn't around anymore. So either this takes place in the past or they just spoiled that S.H.I.E.L.D. is coming back. Either way, it's funny, the idea of a Spider-Man traveling all over the world. I feel like this book was commissioned to coincide with Far From Home, but they didn't get it out in time, and so they're releasing it now. I like globetrotting Spider-Man. I like Spider-Man getting out of his element, and as you can see, there's all sorts of crazy shit here, like Spider-Man as a werewolf, Mary Jane if she became like an actual tiger. So, all sorts of crazy shit they should be doing. And exactly, Amazing Spider-Man, Hickman doing a Spider-Man, even if he's only doing it for a minute. Man, between Spencer's re-envisioning of Spider-Man and especially that life story stuff, and I guess even Tom Taylor, too, doing a Spider-Man story, it's a good time to be a Spider-Man fan. Mysterio's first plan will be to cast Jake Gyllenhaal. Oh, man, Jay, I hope they make that joke. I hope they make that joke now because Mysterio's making movies again. I hope they reference Jake Gyllenhaal in there somewhere. If not, what is even the point if they don't make that joke? There is no point. Why even make the story then? Again, as I was saying before, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, he's teaming back up again with the Fantastic Four for a bit. They got another mystery villain running around there as well. I have not been keeping up with that one, sadly. I know Matt has, and he really enjoys it. Superior Spider-Man, fighting Spider, getting really messed up. He doesn't look to have an Absolute Carnage tie-in, which is surprising. You'd think they would give him one. Miles Morales continued to going very strong in his book. We got a story involving the Prowler, which should be very interesting, because obviously Miles' Uncle Aaron was the Ultimate Universe's Prowler. Then he became the Iron Spider under Bendis, and now it looks like perhaps he will be becoming the Prowler again, because I don't imagine they would resurrect Hobie Brown or the clone for him to fight. So I think that would actually be kind of cool to see Aaron become the cool Spider-Verse version of the Prowler that everyone seems to like and enjoy. Or maybe not, though. Maybe this is like a frame-up, like Miles just assumes that his uncle is the Prowler, even though he's not. But, yeah, solid in the mid, doing solid work on Spider-Man, and promising that maybe he'll touch on the Ultimate Universe a little bit more, or at least try and address the discontinuity that seems to have racked that book and that character, which, you know, I'm always very, very happy about. Oh, you didn't miss much at all, D&G. We're just working our way through the Marvel solicitations, and boy, I wish I poured a drink. Boy, I'm not good at this streaming thing. I forgot to pour a drink. Someone put some bits in the jar so I can Amazon drone myself a drink because I am lazy. Amit is doing great on Miles. I followed him behind on his Miss Marvel, but I hope to catch up. Maybe even if I just do it all in one big video. Ghost Spider from Sean Maguire. She's made the jump. She's in this universe now. And oh no, it's the Jackal maybe. Because, you know, Gwen Stacy, no matter where she goes, no matter where she hides, she just cannot get away from the frickin' Jackal. That character is always hanging over her. Now, is this original Jackal, Miles Warren, or is this something completely different? Who's to say? Then, obviously, Black Cat continuing to go strong with a miniseries. Never really cared about Felicia that much to read about her on her own, but, you know, people seem to like it, and that's good for them. Spider-Man Velocity spinning out from the game. You know, the game's so popular that we're writing books about the costumes now. Velocity wasn't even my favorite costume, but, you know. I like that the game is so popular that it's now become a cottage industry. Spider-Verse. Yes, we're getting a brand new Spider-Verse comic now. It's a mini-series. It's going to be Miles-led, and it's going to have a bunch of the artists, apparently, from the movie providing art for the comic. So visually, this is definitely going to be a one to buy, if only just for that. Oh, yeah, Mary Jane did have a, yeah, Parker's sort of sister. I mean, wasn't she back in a bit? Wasn't she back in Zdarsky's run? Did they make her go away again? I forget her name, but yeah, he had a sort of sister. Likewise, D&G, I think the game did a much better version of the suit than the comic did. For the whole glowy eyes thing. I know I rocked it in the game for a bit. Wasn't the Jackal idea? You know what? Who cares? Fair enough, Jaden. Every time the Jackal gets brought up, who cares? When was the last time the Jackal was interesting? I sure don't know. Also, too, we're building up more of a story involving Miguel O'Hara. Miles O'Hara. Miles Morales, Miguel O'Hara. Tongue-tied. I need a drink. What did I say? Miguel O'Hara is apparently going to be going back to the present. We're going to be getting some more Spider-Man stories involving Roxxon, which again, I feel probably ties in again more to Spider-Verse stuff, to this whole promised 2099 thing that they're going to be doing that they talked about at Comic-Con, that apparently Marvel has big plans for 2099 in the coming year. Teresa Parker, yes, thank you, that was her name. Yeah, she got a suit for a bit and everything. Yeah, she was fun. She was fun and she was interesting, but I can understand why some writers wouldn't want to write about her, why they would think the idea of Spider-Man even just having a kind of sort of sister would be sacrilege. Now I'm going to have to drop Spidey books if I want to read more Spidey books. I feel you, D&G. That's always how I felt about X-Men, where it's like, look, I got to cut off a finger to save a hand here. I'm not going to be able to read all of these books. And you know, if they're bringing back Miguel O'Hara, there's probably going to be a new Spider-Man 2099 book eventually. Marvel Zombies Respawn. Hey, did you like the Marvel Zombies? Well, we're bringing them back, even though we said we might not bring them back, but we're bringing them back. Oh, really? Howard's writing a Doctor Strange annual. Cool. I might look at it. Again, I've been out of Doctor Strange for so long, I feel like I might not get it. Yeah, drop other books for X-Men. That kind of feels like what Marvel wants you to do, Banana God. But yeah, Marvel Zombies is coming back, which is weird because this actually looks to be featuring the heroes. I know there was some art I saw before for a new Marvel Zombies project, and it looked like it was going to be starring an original character, not these heroes, so it's fun to see them come back. I like the covers for Marvel Zombies more than the actual comics. I don't think you're the only one, D&G. I've heard a lot of people say that, you know, it's not their cup of tea. It's, you know, it's a little too violent and a little too nihilistic for their personal taste. Part of me also has to wonder, too, if Marvel really wanted to get a new Marvel Zombies book out because Deceased was doing so well. I see what you did there, Battlezard. I saw what you did there. Marvel Zombies. I thought they were dead. What is dead may never die, but only come back stronger. Here's the Red Goblin stuff. As I said before, it's going to be a little one-shot. Clearly because Norman had a bit of the Carnage symbiote in him, which means he was a symbiote user. Naturally means he's going to be involved in Absolute Carnage, and people like the design so much. Let's Let's give him another book, why don't we? Canadian Ed Bresson is going to be giving us a brand new Ghost Rider book. Yet, weirdly enough, it's going to be Danny Ketch and not Robbie, even though Robbie is on the Avengers team right now, and Robbie is going to have that new TV show. I guess they figure they've tried to restart Johnny Blaze enough times. They're like, screw it, let's give Danny Ketch a try. Why not? This is cool. I don't know if I'm going to be hopping out to read this one right away. I know Danny, for a lot of people, was their Ghost Rider because he had such a long stretch there, but I much prefer Johnny and Robbie. Also, too, Robbie, Johnny, Danny, all their names end in Y's and E's. They all have very similar naming convention. But the art looks cool, and it's Ed Bresson, so, you know, gotta support fellow Canadians out there, even if I don't read it. See, Danny got a lot of love even right here in the chat right now. What else? Do you think AMC would sue Ghost Rider if they use the title Hell on Wheels? Oh, they don't own Hell on Wheels. It's a very, very common expression. There's also going to be a big Ghost Rider graphic comics box. There's going to be Marvel Tales of the Ghost Rider, so they're really doubling down on Ghost Rider come November. They're really trying to get some love shown for the character. What else do we got going on that's interesting and of note at Marvel? Fantastic Four Grand Design, because those X-Men Grand Design books were good, where we, you know, kind of recontextualized all of their history, so we're doing the same now with the Fantastic Four. Makes sense. They have a complicated history and lend themselves well to this, especially because they changed so much over the decades. The Grand Design series is a fun series. Again, I haven't read the new X-Men one yet, but I definitely want to give it a shot. Doctor Doom also going to be getting a brand new series, and I mean, hey, we all loved infamous Iron Doom so much, so why shouldn't we love this? And especially, too, because Marvel has the film rights back now, why can't Doctor Doom get his own movie? He can clearly hold his own comic series, so why the hell not? I hope there's a Ghost Rider Fast and the Furious crossover in our lifetime. We kind of got that in Ghost Racers in Secret Wars. We kind of did get that. I wish that actually became like a team book, Ghost Racers. I would have read the shit out of that. What else do we got coming from November? Bizarre Adventures, which is exactly what it sounds. Bizarre Adventures with characters who don't really get in print anymore. Then we got, of course, all of the new Asian heroes that Marvel is trying to get behind right now for their new Asian line, trying to break into China and Korea and all those other countries, because, hey, you know, they got people. People like comics. Why shouldn't they have heroes that represent them? Why not? Then we got Contagion, which is not related to Marvel Zombies. It's a completely different, completely separate story where the heroes fight a contagion, which is kind of like a zombie outbreak. So, you know, a lot of that going around. There's a real big zombie sickness going around in the Marvel Universe come November. See, Banana God's right on board with that Doom book. See, he knows what he likes. Well, a lot of these are mini-series D&G, and a lot of these are reprints and everything. A lot of these are very avoidable if you don't want to read them. Also, they're doing good right now, so, you know, I don't think too many books is a problem right now. What else do we got coming down there? The Invisible Woman miniseries comes to a close. Future Foundation, which actually does have the Maker in this one, seemingly as the villain, and harboring perhaps the return of Molecule Man. I know a lot of people were quick to say, oh, you know, Charles Xavier's new design in House of X looks a lot like the Maker. I think that's a little too obvious. I think that's a little too on the nose. And look here, he's in this book. Maybe if you want to see if there's any Xavier Maker connection, maybe you should read Future Foundation. Bizarre Adventure, you say? Yes, exactly. Marvel now doing now they're doing JoJo. Everything is JoJo. What's next for Marvel? Again, as people were saying, there's a lot of new Fantastic Four titles coming down the pipeline in November. It's like they're super happy to have it back or something. Immortal Hulk will be having a groundbreaking double-sized issue because they are just pouring all the love in the world on this book, and really, why shouldn't they? It's one of the best things on the shelf right now. Man, look at Hulk just beating the crap out of all of the other different personalities and other gamma creatures in his head. Man, these are some really great covers. Hulk looking like he's going to space. He's got the whole galaxy mind thing going on. These are some really great covers. I really do love these covers, and I really love Immortal Hulk. You're also getting Immortal Hulk Director's Cut, which is basically the first arc, but with a bunch of new shit put in there. which, hey, can't have too much of a good thing, right? This book, really making waves, really getting people interested in the Jade Giant again where they haven't before. So I totally feel comfortable in saying, yeah, people would buy this director's cut. I'd buy the director's cut to get, like, some notes from Ewing. Hey, Joel, where can I start reading Immortal Hulk? Issue 1 of Immortal Hulk is a good place to start. Technically, the story kind of begins when he gets killed in Civil War 2, but you don't gotta read that. And then they kind of resurrect him a little bit in Uncanny Avengers, but they don't talk about that anymore. And technically Hydra resurrected him for a minute, too, in Secret Empire, but you can basically start at number 1. You can basically start at number 1 and know exactly what you're doing and where you're going. And they get you up to speed. Ewing's good about that kind of shit. Avengers 25. Ooh, looks like the Scarlet Witch is going to be involved. And obviously, of course, we're going to be getting our Ghost Racers book there. We're getting a big race in hell, because if you read Guardians of the Galaxy, Cosmic Ghost Rider got sent to hell, Johnny Blaze is the current king of hell, and Robbie has been trying to struggle with his powers, and Aaron's been promising that there's going to be a big Ghost Rider centric event. So there you go, nice story in Avengers there for you. Also, too, I realize a lot of these covers here are actually probably just variant covers. Derp. I probably should have been paying attention to that. Secret Avengers, also finishing up its first arc in November. I've fallen behind on the book. I liked it. I thought it was fine. But again, I wasn't jumping to read every new issue as it came out. It's also getting an annual very, very early into its career. I'm really happy to say that Invaders continues on. Chip Zdarsky is getting a lot of love, and rightly so, for his Spider-Man life story and his Daredevil, but everybody is sleeping on... everyone's sleeping on Invaders, which is a shame, because Invaders is like the best Namor story I've read in a very, very long time. I bet Robbie gets preferred parking in hell. You should if you're driving a Hell Charger. I would really hope you get preferred parking. But yeah, this story is great, and will definitely be on my list at the end of the year for best stuff I've read. And if I can do nothing else, I would love to convert more people to read Invaders, because it's just that good. Wolverine resurrected Brother Voodoo by ripping out his heart and giving his... Yeah, I saw that part, Banana God. That part I did see. Okay, look, we're seeing a lot of Invaders love in the chat. That's good. That's good. I'm glad I can have a positive effect and rub off on you people when it comes to that in particular. Tony Stark Iron Man, as we mentioned before. Pimtron coming back in a big bad way. Really happy to see someone finally pick up with this villain again and make him the big star of an arc, because it feels like that just never happened with him. It feels like they kept threatening to do something big with Pimtron, and it never happened. He's also the perfect villain for Tony right now, who isn't sure if he's, is he a man, or is he just, a biological copy with digital memories in his brain. And obviously, what is Pim? Tron anymore? Is Ultron in the driver's seat, or is Hank Pym in the driver's seat? You don't know, but it's going to be really good. It's going to be some really good shit. Again, I think Dan Slott and Jim Zub have been doing a great job on that book, and I think a lot of people aren't giving it the time of day, which is a shame. Exactly, DNG. So you know what's up. What else is there for Marvel as we keep moving along there? King Thor, Jason Aaron's final word on Thor and Asgard. Hard to believe that his almost decade-long run is coming to an end now, and it had to eventually boil down to Thor versus Loki, but not just any Loki. Loki the Necro God, who has stolen Gore the God Butcher's Necro sword, which we now know is actually connected to Null as well. Ain't that some shit? Tony is also dating Janet right now. You're right, Jaden, and that's going to be a big deal. And also, Jocasta hates him at the moment. And Jocasta's a big deal in the story, so it'll be interesting to see all these characters together in one book. But, yeah, King Thor, super excited for it, but also kind of sad, too, because I know as soon as it's done, that means, we got to close the book on the Aaron era in Thor comics. And I guess it's good to go out on top, Oh, here's the Teeny Howard Doctor Strange annual everyone was telling me about. Loki number 4. Matt sung the praises of Loki in our newest comic multiverse. I have not read it yet. Punisher Kill Crew, again, more Jerry Duggan. Oh, look, Black Knight came back. Someone remembered Black Knight was a character. Fun. Valkyrie Jane Foster. Really surprised with the quality of this book. They got some ideas for this series that I would not expect. They're taking it places. And again, Jason Aaron and Al Ewing, winning combo, what's not to love. Jim Zub giving us a brand new team book in Black Panther and the Agents of Wakanda. I know the second they announced this team and they're like, oh, we got Fat Cobra and Man-Wolf and Brew and all these other like weird, wonderful Marvel characters. Kazar is on the team too. I said, man, I really want to read this team. I want to read this team almost more than I want to read the main Avengers team because I love weird, quirky heroes. And thankfully, Zub is going to be giving us a book. I hope this one makes it. I know weird, quirky teams don't stick around for long, but I hope this series makes it, especially because we also found out the Champions will be ending with issue number 10, and this looks to be the new Zub team book. I hope it does good, just because I like it when fellow Canadians have work and can eat. And Zub definitely is that. I gotta get Zub on the show at some point. I have his information. We've chatted back and forth a couple times. But I haven't had a chance to invite him yet because we were so close to Comic-Con. Guardians of the Galaxy, we're going to finally see what the deal is with Rocket. In fact, they seem to be implying that Rocket is dying. And that this might actually be his real death. Or at least as real as it is in comics, who knows. Yeah, I'm sad about Champions too, especially because it looked like Zub had such big ideas for that series in mind with them fighting Mephisto. If it makes you feel better, he said on Twitter, the book might be ending, but the team is still very much going to continue to exist within the books themselves, and apparently they have big plans for the team in 2020, so, you know, keep an eye out for that. What else do we got going on? Man, there's a lot of comics at Marvel, you're not joking. Swordmaster and Arrow, as I said, the big new Asian titles. Squirrel Girl, ending of its own accord. Got to give them respect for that. Champions, also ending. It's a nice group shot, though, of everyone together. Yeah, it's sad to see it go. But, you know, obviously Miles still has his book. Kamala has her book. All these other people are kind of lost in a way, though. Well, I guess Braun and everyone else is on the Agents of Atlas now. Nova might get another book. It's weird that Nova's been without a book so long when they've actually tried to resurrect the Nova Corps. Hey, maybe he'll show up in Guardians, who knows. Daredevil continues to be great, and they continue to tease, you know, with Matt Murdock really retired. Who's gonna, you know, fill the void? Is anyone gonna fill the void? Is that a void that could be filled? I did read Guardians number 7. The review of that will go up, like, tomorrow at 8 p.m. And by that, of course, I mean Tuesday the 30th. The team's not complete without young Scott. I don't know. I think it works fine without young Scott. Honestly, I think they did just fine without young Scott. It was fun to have him on the team, but I think they did fine without him. I'm hoping they bring back Richard Rider. He is back. He is back, Quackmaster. He's been back in Guardians. He's all over that book. Though they have not quite explained what the deal is with the Nova Corps yet. Are they a powerful force in the universe again, or what's the deal? They seem weaker in some books and stronger in others. What else do we got going on? But yeah, Daredevil, great stuff. Got to check that out. More Teeny Howard stuff in Strike Force. Again, you know, I think I have too many team books, but I want to check this out because Blade is on it, and Blade's getting a movie, and I really like Teeny Howard as a creator, and I want to support her. But yeah, we're reaching almost too many team books at this point, for me at least. And again, I'm someone who does it professionally. Punisher going to a lot of really interesting places too. He's back in New York. He's fighting the Kingpin. That arc looks like it's about to end. He's going to be, you know, re-teaming with the Thunderbolts to fight Baron Zemo, who was on the original Thunderbolts. Which means when this arc is done, I will have to also cover the whole thing in the story so far. Rosenberg is doing really long arcs, I've noticed. He's a big fan of long arcs for his story, which is cool. What else is there? Magnificent Miss Marvel, again, gotta catch up on it. More zombies. Lots of zombies in Marvel in November, if we had to find a connecting theme. She's also got that new costume yet. I don't know if I like it yet. I haven't seen enough of it yet. Looks almost a little too high-tech and a little too spacey for a character who's always been defined as been, you know, like the everyman on Earth. But, you know, we'll see. I haven't actually seen how she gets it yet. That's how far behind I am on that book at the moment. Agents of Atlas, which it went from one miniseries to another miniseries, so, you know, good on them. Death's Head, again, another Teeny Howard book. Holy crap. She's getting paid in November. And oh look, Hulkling and Kate Bishop are along for the ride in this one. Death's Head is so cool. I think if they played Death's Head right, Death's Head could totally be Marvel's answer to Lobo. Because he's also like a bounty hunter with a weird history, and he's kind of funny, or at least his stories are weird funny. Even if they're not ha-ha funny. Again, I don't think Death's Head would do good on my channel if I covered it, but I definitely want to read it for myself, just because Death's Head is just such a wonderfully weird Marvel character who doesn't get used all that much. We got Runaways, we got Fearless, more Ironheart. That book's sticking in there, good for it. Savage Sword of Conan. Again, I am so behind on Conan, but I want to read Conan. I'm sure I would like Conan if I read it. And there's several Conan books, too. There's Conan the Age of Valyria. There's Conan the Barbarian, which is, of course, the one from Jason Aaron, the flagship Conan book, if you will. Then you got all the Star Wars stuff there. You got Star Wars, Allegiance, Rise of the Skywalker, a bunch of stuff tying into the movie. Yeah, you just got so much Star Wars. Target Vader. The actual Greg Pak series with Phil Noto on art, which, man, Phil Noto does really nice Star Wars art. Again, that's another series I wish I had more time to read, but I just don't between all the superhero stuff. But it certainly looks fun, certainly looks cool. You're getting stuff tied into the Fallen Order video game, so check that out if you're interested. Dr. Aphra also going strong in November. What else do we got? They're recollecting a bunch of Hitch's Ultimates. And yeah, the script for the Spider-Man game. All right, now we're all in trades and everything. So yeah, that's the Marvel portion of the show all done and taken care of with everybody. And oh boy, yeah, you weren't kidding. I tried to downplay it there, but yeah, holy shit, they got a lot of books coming out in November. Christ. And again, even though I review like 1 to 2 books a day on the channel, I bet I won't get to half of that. I loved it when Aaron wrote Star Wars. I'll love it too when I can go back and experience it. Make Matt read all the Star Wars comics. I already do. He already does. That's the first 80% of the stream. Yeah, just Marvel. But hey, before I head on over to DC, now is the time that you have my undivided attention. So if you have something you want to talk about or something to ask me now. Also, too, this is the time I have the jar. I have the tip jar for bits, which I have never actually put up before. So trying that one out. So, if you got a donation of anything, now is also the time to put it in there. Nothing is ever expected, but everything is always appreciated for when I do these. And I promise anything you give me will go to the Switch Fund. They got a Joel a Switch Fund so we can play Ultimate Alliance. I got the first 2 volumes of Ultimates, and now they're releasing Ultimates. Indeed. Oh, I'm doing very good, Harmonia. Getting a lot of stuff done. I binge-watched a bunch of Orange is the New Black today. I'm on the last episode. That last episode is like movie length, so I put that off till tomorrow. But yeah, getting some comic work. I was supposed to actually start a specials project that I hope you'll all really like today, but had to reschedule. But keep your eyes peeled to my social media in the next couple weeks and days, and you'll see me drop reference to a secret project that I'm doing, not just on my own, but with a bunch of other interesting people who you probably like from comic YouTube. I haven't watched a lot of Beast Morphers. I watched the first episode and thought, oh, that was fun. Do you think they'll keep Thor's granddaughter after Aaron finishes his run or completely reboot the timeline? Good question. The Thunder Sisters are fun characters. I'd hate to see them go away, but I also wouldn't be surprised if Marvel hates the idea of an actual written-in-stone timeline and tries to get away with it. Wolflane's death sucks so much they should resurrect her. Well, they seem to be resurrecting everyone, Banana God, as weird pod people in House of X, so you might just get your wish. Some rumors are Keanu Reeves might be playing Moon Knight for the MCU. I saw that. Interesting choice. Is Keanu Reeves Jewish? I think Moon Knight is one of the few out-and-out Jewish characters. It might be nice to actually cast a Jewish performer to play him. But that's just me. I mean, Liev Schreiber, let's get him. And not just because I have a massive man crush on Liev Schreiber. Joel, I want to read good team stuff around the Outsiders, Secret Six era. What would you recommend? Also, have you read Checkmate by Pack? I have read Checkmate by Pack. Those are all good choices you got right there. Those are all some fun books that you got right there. What was the one by Warren Ellis? It was a Marvel book. It was kind of like a stoner comedy. Elsa Bloodstone was on it, and so was Spectrum. Why can't I remember this? That's a very well-remembered kind of comedic cult book from the time. What Phase 4 movie are you most excited for? Ooh, probably Shang-Chi, because the dude playing Shang-Chi is Chinese-Canadian. So fuck yeah. The Master of Kung Fu is also a little Canadian, so there. No, he's a That's right, he's Hawaiian. Keanu means, like, sweet child. I mean, I think Keanu can play anything, but I'd like to see them get, like, get a Jewish actor in there somewhere. Just like if they were to cast Kitty Pryde, I would like to see that. And when they inevitably cast Magneto again, I would like to see that too. Keanu Reeves should just show up as John Wick. No one would have a problem with that, and that movie would make, like, all the money. That would make all the money in the world if that was the case. Alright then, so let's hop on in and let's talk about the DC solicitations for November. And as you can see, DC solicitations are doing something kind of weird and interesting where they have all these segmented panels now for Year of the Villain. And we'll start things off with everybody's favorite is Superman. Action Comics number 1017 from Bendis. I talked about 113 on the channel just recently, and boy, was that a slog of an issue. Leviathan will be over by this point in November, and we'll be starting a brand new story that sees Bendis reunite with John Romita Jr. Obviously, they worked on X-Men and everything back over at Marvel. They're saying this is the Invisible War, the start of a brand new storyline. They give very little reference to what it might be about, but we can also see a bunch of characters from the Justice League show up, like Starman and Jon Stewart and Hawkwoman and everything. Man, I hope it's exciting, because I'm really bored with all the Bendis Superman books right now. I'm so bored, I would love to drop them, but I also don't want to drop them, because if I did, that would be like almost... Yeah, like about 25% of the DC books I cover would be gone if I stopped covering Bendis Superman. And the channel would be mostly Marvel. Which I know some people wouldn't have a problem with that if I covered more Marvel books, but I like to try and make sure that both companies are recognized on the channel. And just so I don't get pigeonholed myself as just one thing. Just make the super universe for Bendis. Yeah, I know, right? Just give him his own Ultimate Universe where he can start from scratch and just do whatever he wants and not mess with continuity. I'm surprised that wasn't an idea, Banana God. I really am. And then you can slowly over time just steal all the good ideas from the super universe for new movies or, you know, for the main universe at some point. I mean, I think a lot of people assume that's what the Wonder Universe was going to be. It wasn't. But I think that's what a lot of people assumed it was going to be, the Wonder imprint. But yeah, there's Action Comics. Yeah, it's whatever. Aquaman, I still have not been reading, because I was reading it for people who were sending it to me. I was actually getting advanced copies of that. And then they stopped with the advanced copies of that for me to cover, so I stopped reading it. Nothing against Kelly Sue DeConnick. I hope she gets more work at DC. Batgirl looks to be getting quite interesting. Her Year of the Villain is Oracle officially revealed. We knew she was fighting some sort of robot, but now we know that that character is Oracle. So I guess Sal joked about this with me by saying, "Oh, so Oracle is now Batgirl's brother Eye. She created an AI to help her fight crime, but the AI went crazy and is now trying to kill her. Ain't that some shit?" I know people were telling me the last run under the last writer of Batgirl was actually quite strong, because they gave Grotesque an origin story and they referenced a bunch of Gail Simone stuff. I have that volume, I just haven't had a chance to read it yet. I know I'm sounding like a broken record, but that's the life of a comic book YouTuber. You can't read what you want to read because the work stuff always takes precedent. I need another light week in a long month where I can actually go back and revisit some shit. But that one looks interesting if that be your jam. Tom King's time on Batman will almost be over in November, as we'll have Batman issue number 82, and this right here, I don't know what to think about this cover here, if we should believe the story that this is telling, where it's Bane clearly smashing up Gotham City, but with Thomas Wayne, the Flashpoint Batman, puppeteering him. Are we really going to have multiple years worth of Bane was behind it all, Bane was the mastermind, only to pull the rug out at the last minute and be like, no, it was actually Thomas Wayne who was behind everything? Boo! I have no idea. I have no idea what to make of this series. You'll hear it when we actually talk about it on the podcast this week, me and Matt, but I actually liked the start of City of Bane much more than he did, just because it was so fucking strange and weird. But it looks like it's not going to stay strange and weird, and that's a shame. We can survive this run, I know it in my heart. It's over. It's almost over. Oh, yes, that's right. You've been talking about that, Banana God, your law school. Good luck with that. It's almost over. No, he has not explained how Thomas Wayne made the jump to this universe. Not only has he not explained it, Space Lord, but no one has even bothered to ask him. Which is really insane to me that no one has once said, hey man, how are you here? You figure that would be the first thing everyone would say, but no, nobody says it, and it's really friggin' weird. What else we got? Batman and the Outsiders, which, man, I don't know if this book is long for this world. Matt was reading it, and I was like, hey, good on you, man. I didn't like the story that kicked this off in Detective Comics. But, yeah, Matt has dropped it, and if Matt has dropped it, I don't know how long it's going to be until everyone else drops it. I guess it's cool they're setting them up against Ra's al Ghul and the Outsiders, but, you know, it's not for me. It's not my Bat book, which is a shame because I like a lot of the characters on that book, like Duke and Cassandra and Black Lightning, and I wish they would have a home, but I don't know. I mean, he's not carrying the book on his own DNG. It's him and, like, several other people. Black Lightning has a TV show, and it doesn't look like he might be able to carry this book. So, you know, pour a 40 out for them. That's a shame. Then, of course, we got Joshua Williamson's Batman Superman, which will be underway by November. And this is weird. We'll still be doing Year of the Villain stuff in November, but we'll also be starting the whole, like, Secret Six Infected Dark Universe story, too, that will be spinning out of the pages of this. So it's really weird. As we're going to see, you know, the Batman Who Laughs makes good on his threat, and he actually starts changing other heroes around the DC universe, and we start seeing him basically building his own team of weird, messed up, inverted heroes. But, yeah, I'm all for that. You know, Joshua Williamson, one of the best guys working in Comics Day, one of the best guys working at DC, so, you know, nothing but love for him. What else do we got here? Oh, yeah, Detective Comics. We're going to be seeing the introduction of Ms.Freeze. Yes, Batman's fought Mr. Freeze forever, but it seems as a result of Year of the Villain, Freeze used Lex's money to finally save his wife, and she's got a cool robot arm that looks like it shoots ice, and it looks like she's a villain now, which I don't think anyone has... Well, actually, no, someone has told that story. That there was a bunch of animated shorts back in the day that had Nora Freeze as a villain, but still, I like this idea. I like this idea. Matt, I won't spoil it, but Matt has a great pitch as to why he thinks she becomes a villain this November. That's in the podcast, which you can listen to if you're a patron for as little as $1 a month, and which you will be able to hear Wednesday at 8 when it drops. But he has a really good theory, and I don't want to steal it from him as to why he thinks Nora is a villain. But I love the idea of Nora waking up and being super pissed at Batman for whatever reason and being like, yo, I'm going to be a villain now. That's some good-ass shit. Yeah, Mr. and Mrs. Freeze. Just the name, Mr. and Mrs. Freeze, I like so much as a concept. The only villain who can pull off mom jeans. Just take my money, Joel. I will happily take your money. I will buy a drink, and I will put it towards a Switch and pay my rent. Again, the jar is right here for anyone who's interested. I also have a coffee page linked down below and a PayPal tip jar. You just don't have to do it on Twitch. Although if you do, I did change some of my emotes from the generic ones, so you can see a different little alert thing. So that's an option. What else do we got coming from DC in the month of November? Flash is going to be starting a whole big story. The death of the Speed Force. Matt was telling me about this. We're also getting Captain Cold and the Rogues, but like a super badass Leonard Snart with like a cool Santa beard who's been running missions for the Suicide Squad, and like he's the only one left because he's just that good. DC stands for doesn't do continuity. At the moment, they don't seem to be. Sub-Zero Snart. He's literally Sub-Zero Snart. He doesn't even need a gun anymore. Like, Luthor's giving him the money to build, like, new cold gauntlets where he can just, like, do that shit. I am so down for this. I wish I had time to read Flash. I wish I could catch up on the 70-plus issues, because this looks very much like my jam. I love it when schlubby villains are not schlubby anymore. I love it when they get super badass on their own. And, like, look how swole he is. He's grown like a fight beard. He's grown like a Jay Leno retirement beard. What's not to like about that? Alright, so that's Flash. You got your Harley Quinn. Okay, so you got Hawkman, and this is interesting because, as we can see, Hawkman is going to be the first of the infected by the Batman Who Laughs. We're going to get Hawkman the Infected, or I guess that's... calling them the Infected is an easier way than calling them the blank that laughs, because technically they're not all Jokerized. But yeah, Hawkman the Infected, who I think is going to be our first member of the new villainous Secret Six that Batman Who Laughs is putting forever. The Batman Who Hawks. I mean, he's not technically a Batman, but he might be. I don't know. What does the Batman hawk? Bat credit cards? I don't know. Like he's wearing some fake... Yeah, he does look like he stole some Dr. Fate gear. You're not wrong. Also, his mace got, like, way uglier looking. But, like, ugly in, like, a Todd McFarlane kind of way. But that name makes money, putting Batman on top of it. How could we not want to put Batman on it? That's cool to give it to Hawkman, because Hawkman never feels like he's doing much anyway, but, like, he feels like he'd be a really solid combatant, so I like the idea of making him one of the infected. And as we'll find out, he's actually just one of several characters. Then you got the Justice League book. We keep doing stuff with Perpetua and the Doorknob and everything else, that story. Again, maybe the best team book on the shelf right now. Definitely one of the only must-buy things at DC currently is Scott Snyder's Justice League, and it looks to continue to be delivering what fans want right through Year of the Villain, and rightly so. The Year of the Villain, spotlight is given to the Legion of Doom because, well, fuck it, that's who they're fighting anyway. That's the thing about this Year of the Villain thing, why it feels a little slapped together, in my honest opinion, because it feels like so many of the villains they choose to, like, highlight and showcase for Year of the Villain are just people they were going to be fighting anyway. They were just, like, they were obviously just going to be fighting the Legion of Doom anyway. It's not like they're getting a special highlight or a special, from left field villain. The Justice League is just Jarro and the Lesser Beans. Jarro is great. Jarro is adorable. You gotta love Jarro, that's for certain. Alright, what else have we got going on here? Ooh, here's a fun one. Justice League Dark is going to be giving us the Injustice League Dark, led by Cersei, and I think that's so freaking cool as a concept. You've got yet another redesign for Clarion the Witch Boy. It feels like he's had like 60 at this point. You got Solomon Grundy back, looking more like his old self, but also a lot grosser and everything. I don't know who the other two are. Is that supposed to be Baron Somdi? And is that the Floronic Man? Or is that Anton Arcane? Or is that Mr. Bloom? I don't know. Yeah, Chaos Clarion. There's going to be some good shit. I've only read the first volume of Snyder's Justice League, but I haven't read it yet. It's really good shit. You'll like it. It's really good. It's like Morrison levels of, like, alternate realities and shit, but, like, much easier to follow. I love the idea of the Injustice League Dark. I think that's so cool. No, Mr. Bloom will never come back. You say that, Banana God, that Mr. Bloom will never come back, but Tynion is writing Justice League, writing Justice League Dark, and, he's a student of Snyder, and Mr. Bloom is a Snyder creation, so you don't know. Man, there's so many books on my wall that is going to hit hard. I know, right? I feel like that's the underlying theme of Solicitation Station, Space Lord. You do not have enough money to be a comic fan in 2019, and November is going to hit you hard. It's going to take it from you. It's going to take everything from you. Alright. Then, of course, you got Justice League Odyssey, which makes sense that, Darkseid's going to be leading the pack on this one. And also, look, Darkseid looks to be returning to his classic costume for whatever reason. Which, any reason for him to get back into that classic costume is fine by me, because that weird, over-designed Emperor thing just wasn't doing it for him. And wasn't doing it for me either, so I'm glad to see him back in his old gear. Please, someone Dan Didio out of power. He's never gonna happen. Also, don't make threats on the internet. Battles, don't make threats, but people can see them. Don't do it. Don't do it here. Don't do it nowhere. Yeah, I haven't been reading Odyssey, not because I don't like science fiction or whatever, but again, it's just I was already reading main Justice League and Justice League Dark. I didn't have room for another one. I just didn't have room for another Justice League book. Even though this does look like they're taking it in some interesting directions, like Starfire, like Cyborg, like that they made Azrael a space character for whatever reason. Banana God says he reads for Azrael, so there you go. Have they done anything to try and deal with the idea of him being a holy roller who went to space and realized, oh wait, there's other alien life forms that would seek to disprove the existence of my Judeo-Christian God? Have they really tried to tackle that? Because I figure that would be the best way to take a character like that, a fanatic basically, and put him into space. So far, DNG, it feels like it hasn't mattered. Like, the events of Justice League Odyssey haven't really touched anything else in the universe, like Dark has and like main Justice League has. But, you know, it has its fans. It's got its fan base, and, you know, more power to them. Nightwing, I feel like I say this all the time when we cover this, but, you know, will Rick Grayson finally get his frickin' memories back? Because he's fighting William Cobb, who is, like, his great-great-great-great ancestor, and apparently they are saying that, yes, he will try and get him back to himself and also try and turn him into the Grey Son of Gotham, the greatest Talon, which is what the Court of Owls always wanted for Nightwing to begin with. That's when you buy the book again. I don't know if I want to buy it for this arc, Banana God, but I might want to read it after this, if it's his run-in with his great-great ancestor that turns Rick Grayson back into Dick Grayson, because it's just so stupid that he's still Rick Grayson all this time later. I don't care, he took away the things I like, so please, someone get rid of him. Yeah, Rick Grayson is the DNG. You get a round of applause for that one. Rick Grayson is the Chris Gaines of Nightwing history. If you don't get that joke, everyone, you need to Google Chris Gaines. Finish watching this first, but that's a primo joke right there. That's some good shit right there. These covers do actually look pretty good, though. Not enough to actually make me want to read Nightwing right now, but these are some pretty solid covers. I cannot deny. Then you got Red Hood and the Outlaws. I continue to not care about Red Hood and the Outlaws. But you got Generation Outlaw. I have no idea what that means, because I haven't been following the book. Are they implying that maybe he'll be getting a brand new team of characters? Will we be seeing the return of some old ones? It's Scott Lobdell. I don't care. Actually, speaking of Scott Lobdell, did you see that Scott Lobdell has a Kickstarter with the guy they kicked off Rat Queens for domestic abuse? Yeah. And did you see last month he got another, more accusations thrown his way for being a bad man? Just saying. He's the only comic creator who's ever had beef with me and ever had problem with me. And you know what, as time goes on, I feel more and more vindicated by the fact that he's the only one who doesn't like me. So, you know, it's all good. Then we got Superman, talking about the new Fortress of Solitude in the Bermuda Triangle, doing some stuff with the multiverse, and also, oh look who Superman's Year of the Villain secret final boss revealed is. It's Lois, everyone. He's gonna be fighting Lois, because as we saw at the end of Superman, Lex Luthor, one of his little Doombots, came to Lois and delivered her something, which I guess we now find out is kryptonite. Why is Lois fighting Superman? Who knows? And it's probably nothing, is what it is, because Bendis loves doing that, having big, misleading covers that ultimately end up relating to nothing. And also, he knows this will make people unhappy, because, you know, he already knows the consensus amongst fans is that he hates Superman's marriage and that he wants to break it up somehow by either sending his son to the future or turning his wife into a bad guy. I don't think it'll be as big and, like, you know, heavy duty as that, but here you go. I did put this up on Twitter, though, this image, and everyone really seemed to like it. And by like it, I mean pull their hair out. Because, you know, annoyed fans will still buy books. Bored fans will stop buying books. That's the thing I think Bendis learned a long time ago when it comes to getting repeat customers. Look, you know, if you're annoyed, you'll keep reading it to see if I fix it or if I make it worse. But if you're bored, you'll just stop reading. Yeah, so that's what you can expect in Superman in November. Again, I'm so tired. I'd like to stop reading it, but I can't. Lobo is going to be the villain. Lobo and his daughter Crush for the Junior Suicide Squad, tentatively called Teen Titans. I don't read it for those reasons. I wish there was a good Titans book again that I could read. There was a good Titans book. It was called Champions, but now I can't read that anymore either. We got Bizarro and the Terribles fighting the Terrifics. Which, yeah, hey, that book's still hanging in there. Every time I see this book on Solicitations, I'm like, hey, good for you, Jeff Lemire. Good for you, Terrifics, for hanging in there. Don't let anyone tell you that, you know, you were a shameless Fantastic Four knockoff. You outlived all those other, New Age of Heroes books, because you were the only book that didn't need to be a New Age of Heroes books. I'm always happy when a book finds its fan base, and it looks like this book has found its fan base. And I mean, hey, Bizarro in armor. What is not to love about an armored Bizarro? That's just a cool-ass image. Alrighty then. So, what else do we got from DC in November? Wonder Woman by Steve Orlando. Oh, is this just a special issue, or is he actually taking over now? Oh, it looks like Steve Orlando might very well be taking over Wonder Woman come November. I guess G. Willow Wilson is off now, and we're seeing the Cheetah. Because really, what other villain would Wonder Woman fight but the Cheetah? I know it looked like she got the God Killer sword for a second. Now it looks like Cheetah's just doing a full-on Wonder Woman cosplay now. Which I guess makes sense, because she's going to be the villain for the movie, so they want to make her bad again, and they want to make her prominently bad as well. I dropped Superman after Peter left. Is anything cool happening with John? Nothing is happening with John, great fat boy. He's barely around anymore. They wrote him off into space with his grandpa, who was evil, but everyone forgot he was evil for a second. Then they aged him up, and now they're going to be sending him to the future soon, so they don't got to deal with it. The fur ruins it for you, Banana God, but I'm sure for a lot of people on the internet, and this is the internet, that only enhances it. It's not a bug, it's a feature. Just saying. Cheetah looks ridiculous in the armor? I don't think so. I kind of love how weird and messed up it is that an animal person is wearing armor. Batman was actually Jor-El the whole time. You know. Alright, so there's Wonder Woman for it. Yeah, I'm surprised there wasn't more of a big deal. I wonder, is Steve Orlando only writing these villains, or Year of the Villain issues? Or is he actually taking over the book now? I don't remember hearing anything about it. And, I guess that's it. I guess that's everything for DC right now in the month of December. Or November. God damn it. I've been doing this for too long. I've been doing this for over an hour now. I'm losing my mind. Boy, did that go quick. Man, the DC solicitations went really quick. Was that all of them? That can't be all of them for the month of November, right? Unless I'm really crazy. Yeah, Steve Orlando definitely saw the Cats trailer, and that's what he thought of it. He was inspired. So there you go, everyone. That'll just about do it for me in another solicitation station. I hope you enjoyed the video. I will be ending this portion for the YouTube version that will be going up later. But for everyone, for all 20 of you who are still hanging out in the chat over on Twitch, I will stick around with you all a bit longer, and we'll continue to shoot the shit and have a good time and just chat it up. Again, if you want to take part in a solicitation station episode, be sure to keep your eyes peeled to all my social media feeds. That's the Cape Joel Facebook, the Cape Joel Twitter, the Cape Joel Instagram occasionally, and I will try and let everyone know when I go live so you too can be part of the show. So for everyone who's just watching the re-uploaded version that I'm going to put up on the YouTube channel, I'll thank you. I thank you very much, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.